fans, welcome back to Room 237, and I just want to make a quick video, because I haven't made one yet, but I have all that I'm going to get for now. I'm still going to be doing reviews for silent films and other older films that I've wanted to see for a long time, which, put that one there. So this is my collection of silent films. Now, I know there's a lot. I know there's a lot of silent horror films. I know there's a lot of silent films that are often considered horror films. There's even a couple I have that probably are not really horror films, but because of maybe the makeup of one of the characters, it's often considered a horror film. This is by no means a huge or definitive collection, but I'm proud of it. I obviously will get more as I come across them, but for now, this is the silent film collection that I'm working with. So I'll just get down to it. This might be my favorite one. It's really hard between this and one other one, but Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Loved this movie to death. Probably my top 20 favorite films of all time. Just one of the greatest visual experiences I've ever had. And a lot of these silent films are done. I have from a Kino video collection, which actually, do I have all the silent films that I own? I probably should have been this sure before I started recording, but I'm not always that smart. I believe so. Yep. Alright, good. Good. But yeah, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, definitely one of my favorites. This is tied my number one favorite silent film with one other one that I'll get to. It's a pretty obvious one. From the same director and star of Caligari, Hands of Orlac, which is one that I'll get to. From 1924, Conrad Veidt, directed by Robert Wine. I actually haven't seen this one yet, but F.W. Murnau, Faust. And again, this is another one where I think it often gets listed as a horror film. Maybe it's just because of some of the scary imagery, but might not actually be a silent film. And again, Kino International. I love these German expressionist films, but Faust I'll definitely get to. All of these I'll get to. And the rest of the ones I have from Kino are part of this American silent horror collection, which this is expensive. I found this on a used website for like 30 bucks, 27, 30 bucks. I've seen this go for between $100 and $130 on Amazon, eBay. And no, it's not a bootleg. I know anytime someone hears that is cheaper, it's a bootleg. No, it's not a bootleg. But it comes with the following. I've already reviewed Man Who Laughs. Like, this is a romantic drama, but because of Conrad Veidt's horrific makeup, it's often listed as a horror film. But I really enjoyed this. And yes, people, just because someone's going to say it in the comments, whoever the real creator of the Joker might be, Jerry Robinson, Bob Kane, Bill Finger, and regardless of what they say, the one common element of the creation of Joker was the look of Gwynplaine in this. The 1920 version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with John Barrymore, which, yeah, if you go to Rob Zombie's Dragula music video, the opening of that video is from this. Just like Living Dead Girl is pretty much Caligari. 1927's The Cat and the Canary. The first real, like, essential old dark house film. Very excited to get to that. And then the Lon Chaney film, which I think is more of a drama or a thriller. Lon Chaney's The Penalty. Which I have heard of this. I can think of a few other Lon Chaney films I probably would have rather been in this collection in its place. Because I'm pretty sure this is like a crime thriller. But this is from 1920. And then it comes with Kingdom of Shadows, which is the rise of the horror film, with scenes from more than 50 classic thrillers. There's no interviewees, it's just like a narration of history of silent films with a bunch of clips. 70 minutes, but I found it very interesting. I'll probably watch it again, then might do a review on this as part of my horror documentary playlist, which I have got a bunch more horror documentaries since I've done my collection video. But when In Search of Darkness 2 comes in, I'll do an updated video. So that's what's in this box set. So then from Criterion, we have Hexen on Blu-ray, which I really enjoyed. Very, very interesting movie. 1922. Very much enjoyed Hexen. 1921, and this was the last review I did, Phantom Carriage. Swedish film. Very cutting edge with the special effects of the layered film to get the transparent ghosts. Another thing why I love these silent films is even the most simple of effects were cutting edge back then and very hard to pull off with what they had and still hold up, 90 to 100 years later. And then a couple other ones I have is the Golem, which is the only of the 3 Golem films to have survived. The other 2 were lost. This is the third one made, but it's a prequel from 1920. Another big film in German Expressionist movement. I've seen this once. I don't remember much, but definitely gonna watch again and review it. This will probably be my next review, either this or the Golem, but another Lon Chaney film. One of his at least two that I can think of, clown films. He Who Gets Slapped. The other one is called Laugh Clown Laugh, which I don't own. This might even be the first psychological thriller. I heard it's actually pretty haunting. I haven't seen it yet. I just picked this up. And this was the first MGM film to have the Leo the Lion in the beginning. But always interested in seeing Lon Chaney. And I think this one is more of like a horror film than Laugh Clown Laugh. The story to this sounds very interesting. And then the last one I have by itself is, because I found it for like $5 and I got this before that box set, is The Cat and the Canary again. The reason why I have both is because this says 101 minutes, but the other one says 80. Now, I don't know if that's because there's like a short film after it. Because that was the case when I watched Vampire from 1932. The back said 72 minutes, but the time code on the screen said hour 38 because there was a short film after it. I don't know if that's the case with this. That's why there's an extra like half hour on it. Because it doesn't really say anything on the back. But yeah, I'll figure out what the difference is, but I do have Cat and Canary by itself. And then the last ones I have are part of this 50 horror classics set that I have. This was the first thing I bought of anything from like between the 20s and the 50s. But this has, of course, Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera, which I've reviewed. Absolutely love it. Nosferatu, which is tied with Caligari for my favorite silent film. This does have Hunchback of Notre Dame with Lon Chaney, which I'll have to get to as well. It does have the John Barrymore Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which I have by itself. Also has Metropolis by Fritz Lang. I always thought that was more sci-fi, but I guess some people, it gets considered horror. I've seen clips of it. I haven't actually watched it yet. It looks outstanding, especially for its world building, you know, kind of like Blade Runner, but in the 20s. I guess it still holds up. And Hunchback, Nosferatu, Opera, Metropolis. Five? Yeah. Okay. So it has 5 on here. I do want to get them all by themselves, especially Nosferatu. I want to find a really good version. I don't think there's a criterion of it. If there was, I would get it. And then I figured these kind of play out like silent films. They're not silent films. They came out after the fact, but Vampire from 1932, which I've reviewed, it's not a silent film. They kind of treat it like one because dialogue in 3 languages was going to be kind of a problem. So there's very little dialogue. It does have intertitles for the exposition. Excellent film. I loved it. Another very visual experience. I really liked Vampire. This one, if there ever was a silent film, or like a throwback, or like a neo-silent film, it would probably be 1989's or 1990s. I've seen both, 89, 90, Begotten. This is like a silent German expressionist film 60 years, almost 70 years after the fact. I love this film as well. I see why people call it pretentious or boring. I love it. I like the more religious and creationist allegories in this more so than in Darren Aronofsky's Mother. That even though I liked Mother, I think that's way more pretentious than this. This is definitely more of my kind of, if I want to see that kind of pretentious allegorical film of that subject matter, I prefer this over Mother. But, you know, this really does feel like the most accomplished, someone trying to make a silent German expressionist film way after, like, decades, almost a century after that movement had kind of stopped. And it's an American film, but I love Begotten. Another one that's, it's not a silent film. I think it's only because it has no dialogue. Another reason why I pointed this one out is because there's no sound effects with what's going on, just like a score, only a score. One that isn't a silent film because it is a sound film. There's just no dialogue. You hear people, but there's no actual dialogue, not one word of it. Is one that I've reviewed. I believe it's from '55. It's a film called Dementia. I think that one is more, because it's experimental, more of the visuals and the dreamlike state being told without words, not because it's trying to be a silent film or because the technology isn't there. And then this isn't at all related to anything I'm talking about, but this is more of the older films that I want to get to, like classic black and white films I want to get to, hopefully before the Christmas season starts. But I finally found a copy of The Haunting from 1963. All I could ever find was the fucking Liam Neeson one, which I don't enjoy. I hadn't seen this yet. Yes, it's, The Haunting of Hill House, Netflix, same story. But I hear this is quite... I saw clips of it. I saw it when I was a young kid, but it was on TV, and I don't remember anything about it. I remember certain visual things, but very excited to get to this. I will say again, because again, I know it's the internet. People will block out certain points to make me sound stupid. Not a silent film, not related to any of these at all, just showing that it's something I want to get to. But yeah, that is my silent film collection. Yeah, it's not the biggest collection in the world, but I'm happy with it. Again, Hexen, Phantom Carriage, Cat and the Canary, The Golem, He Who Gets Slapped, Lon Chaney, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, tied with Nosferatu for my favorite, Hands of Orlac, and Faust. And then again in this, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Nosferatu, Metropolis, Phantom of the Opera. And then this has Man Who Laughs, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Cat and the Canary, and The Penalty. Love silent films. Let me know what you guys think of these silent film reviews, or what you think of silent films, either as an era or in particular films. And I hope you're enjoying the reviews. And thank you for watching.